Call is also fine. Hey Rudy, when the live stream I feel excited and happy. Thank you. Um, okay. Good evening, however. Everything seems good. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, this is fine. All right. So today is the first session, and before I start, I have to say apologies. Uh, this room is a little bit hot because today was a hot day here, and I still don't have the AC installed in this place. So it's gonna be a little bit, sweaty. You might see uh, some. Don't post memes, agent. Don't post memes, please. You might see me sweating a bit. Please bear with it. I'm bearing with it as well. So okay, we'll start. I need to know this. This is very disturbing. Please don't post memes. Any animated stuff. It disturbs me. I get distracted. So okay, all fine. Shall we start? We have 21 people over here. I've attended Thursday session, but not Saturday session. I hope I haven't missed much. Okay, Rocker, uh, you have not missed much. On Saturday, I did present a different perspective towards, you know, why we should be learning Go, but you didn't miss much. I honestly repeated quite a bit of what I had already said, and if you still wanna go through what I said, the recording is there. It's on YouTube. You can go through it. All right. And today we have to start off with the first programming session, and we are gonna focus on programming. Also, I am sure that every one of you received the workshop outline, right? Yes. And today we are going to cover this, but I'm going to change this course a little bit. And I'll tell you why and how. So one of my colleagues, he got to know about the workshop, and he said that he had once attended a workshop that went with the basics really fast, and then went into the advanced stuff. Now I can get into the advanced stuff right from here, maybe like interfaces, data structures. But what I'm gonna do is I'll go through the happy path, tell you what works, how it works, basic stuff, and walk you through till I think error handling pretty fast. And once we are here, I'll slow down and I'll go from the beginning to smaller nitty gritties that I haven't talked about yet, or things that I should tell, should have told. I'll repeat those and I'll give you a deeper dive into whatever we have gone through till here. All right. So that's what I've decided. But anyway, it's going to be more or less the same structure. Okay, so starting the programming installation. So before you obviously start working on any language, you gotta install the language, right? Now I am on Mac, and here if I already have Go installed, so if I say Go version, you have 122.0, I can say Brew upgrade. Here you install with Brew, okay, and I think Brew upgrade Go should do it. You can update to 122.2, I think, and that's the latest one. But anyway, it's a very minor. To install, instead of upgrade on Mac, you'll have to say Brew install Go. On Linux, you'll have to say something else, depending on which OS you are using. But if I'm using Debian, for example, I'll have to say like sudo apt-get install. Now the problem is most of the repositories that you get, um, they are, so if I start a Debian, I don't know, I have it now, it's shut down, it's not completely ready. If I say something like sudo app install Go, it might work, might not work. I'm saying app, so it's obviously for Debian, Ubuntu, Mint, that kind of stuff. But the better way of installing Go Linux is to go to go.dev and then click on the download button here. And then you get all of this stuff. So usually the latest, I mean, not usually, it's all the time. It's the top version lists all the files that you might be interested in, all the you know ports of the releases of that particular version, and the featured ones are here. I don't think you're gonna build with source, so you can leave that. But Windows is covered here, Linux is here, and this is AMD 64, so it's gonna work on Intel-based machines. This is for Intel-based MacBooks or Mac machines. Uh, and this is for Apple Silicon M1, M2, M3. But you can still like download from here. And the installation instructions are pretty clear. Click on this, and you have. Sorry, I opened the wrong link. Instructions. Okay, and then it detected that I'm on Mac. You are on Linux. I mean, on Mac, you can still do the same thing, right? Or on Linux, you have to do this, like copy this, okay, and you run it somewhere. For most part, if you just replace the file name, they should also still work on, Mac as well. So you install it, and you have Go installed, right? So once you have Go installed, I think it is installing. And once you have Go installed, you can say create a file. So you have cd code where let's create let me call Go this Go one. Okay, this MNCD is actually something that I wrote. You'll have to probably do a MKDIR and then you have to proceed. Um, there's nothing here. So I'm gonna say uh, one file main.go, and we can start editing, and let's write a very simple program, the hello world. Typically that's what we start from, right? So package main, and I'll walk you through it a little bit later. Import empty func main, and you can say ln hello world, which is session program. Okay. You don't need semicolons in the end. Functions are called func, not function. You always have to create a package. Every file must contain a package name. And if you say pack, so the name main is actually special, and the function main is also special. So if your function, your program has a main function inside main package, that's what gets executed when you run it. Okay, so I'm gonna just save and quit, and I say go run main.go, and it should print whatever we see. Right, print it. Very simple. But usually you guys are not going to program on this, right? I mean, not terminal. You'll probably get something like very VS Code. I don't think I have VS Code. Let's see. Visual Studio Code is here. I don't know what I had opened last time. Okay. This file, new window. I don't know why I have such a big display. Okay, to like. Like this. You'll probably open that file over here. Let me go to tech go session one and drop it here. Should work. I don't use VS Code, guys, so if I'm making mistakes, let me know. I don't know what I clicked. Yeah, and so I think I have already installed the Go extensions. I think the way is to go to extension and search for Go, and you should get one created by the Go team at Google. You can 100% depend on that. This is the right one, and install it. This says uninstall because I have already installed it, right? And if you are fond of NeoVim on terminal, I don't think you need my help in particular, but people who want to do it without a lot of hassle. So uh, I can walk you through, or just a few hours before I started this stream, I uploaded, I created it a couple of days back and yesterday, the VM called Debian. So I'm just gonna read this part. Okay. So the word Debian is basically a play on three words: Debian, VM, and Dev, which is development. And I've created this virtual machine only for this workshop. So you can just go to the download link here. Okay, this will take you to a OneDrive folder. Okay, and you can go to virtual machines. Here you will see I will be making the M1 version as well. This is for Intel, and I'll make a VM which will run on Mac M1 or M2, which I mean Apple Silicon machines. And you can open this. You will have either one single zip file or split set of files in 7Z format. This is what I could get, so I've done this. And this is useful. So if you are on a fast connection or it's a stable connection, and you want to download just one file, this is good enough. But if you are on a slower connection, you are probably using mobile data, and you can't download a 5 GB file within uh, limited time, and you're afraid that maybe this network connection will break and I'll have to start downloading again. So this is the use case for which I have got the split files. You can download them one after another. The button will appear here. Please don't select all and download, because this will start zipping. Okay, and it gives you no advantage over downloading the single zip. Anyway, once you download it, basically you'll have to unzip it. Then you'll have to install VMware Workstation for Windows or Linux, and VMware Fusion on Mac. And three versions are available. The free version using which I created this anyway. So once you have it, open up the unzipped or extracted VM files. You'll find a .vmx file. I'll tell you which one it is here. Okay, don't have the folders here, but okay, you'll find a Debian AMD64.vmx in the folder, and you should double click it and it will start. It will ask you for a password. You'll get the username as TechRail, and the password is techrail.in. You have to obviously change it later on, but you'll need this to log in. Once you have logged in, you'll have sudo privileges, so you can just sudo applicate whatever. And it does not have any root password. So if you say it's you and you try to enter root, you won't be able to. You'll have to set it first. If you need help with that, I can tell you. Also, later on, after I update ARM64 once, remember that VMware Workstation or Fusion will not be able to run Intel machine image on Apple Silicon one and ARM based machine on a Linux one. So please don't try that. And if it ever asks you, did you copy or move the VM? Please select copy the VM. I have a couple of times I have selected moved and it doesn't work. So stay away from that option. So what have I done in this VM is I installed curl and ZSH. I've set ZSH as the default shell for TechRail user. I installed VS Codium. I'll tell you why. I've just written it. You can read while I this part. And I installed JetBrains Mono Nerd font. And Nerd fonts is a very good place for getting some cool fonts for your terminal. And these fonts basically contain lots of icons. You can see these, JS icon, the folder icon, the C, the Haskell, the RSS feed icon, the Java icon here, the Lua icon here. All of this is there in Nerd fonts. You can go to Nerd fonts and download something that you like. I like JetBrains Mono a lot, so I installed it. I have set it as the default mode in console and as well as VS Codium. Then I installed OMI and Power Level 10K, which make the terminal basically look like this. So you can have some really good features over there. I'll leave that to you to discover what good things are in there. I'm sure some people would be knowing about it. Then I installed Go and NVim or NeoVim, and they are installed in this place, Home Tactile Win. This is added to Path, and I installed LSP, the Go one, and I linked it to both NeoVim and VS Codium. So if you start VS Codium, you make a new project, your LSP auto completes, go to definition, things like that. They're already there. Okay, and there is console is the default terminal in that environment, KDE, and Kate is the default text editor. Like if you try to open a .md file, you'll probably open it there unless you have like done the rebinding of files to VS Codium. And Kate is really good. I mean, if you look at the amount of resources consumed, memory, CPU, Kate is pretty good. And okay, I did a little bit of branding in there. I changed the login splash screen and the login users login icon. So it will come as the same as this over here, this icon. And I have added a 3 wallpapers which I created using AI over here. And I installed VS Codium because VS Code is a Microsoft product and its license specifically disallows redistribution. Since I am giving a machine to you which already has it installed, it's technically redistribution and I'm not allowed to do it. So VS Codium is basically made from the same source code that VS Code is made out, and it is open source and I think it's MIT license, the code base that is there. So VS, okay, VS Code GitHub. Yeah, MIT license. But the product VS Code is not MIT license. Okay, it's a little bit of extra stuff that Microsoft does, like get sign in GitHub is easy. It allows you to install GitHub Copilot very easily and stuff like that. Those things you won't find here, and that's why I have got VS Code. Basically, license use. Okay, what can I use it for? Uh, Obviously, it's made for programming, but it's the VM, it's the operating system that runs. So use it the way you like it. I don't care. I'm not responsible for anything that you screw up. If you do something illegal, I'm not responsible. This is just a disclaimer. I know that people usually don't mean harm, but the disclaimer is here just for the sake of it. If you install Debian, I wish I could show you. Maybe I'll upload a video or a walkthrough of how you can use it. But basically, this helps you in case you are afraid that you screw up your environment in some way, whether it's Windows. And about Windows, I don't use Windows. I don't have a Windows machine with me right now. I don't know how to set up the environment in Windows. So I can't help you if you are in Windows. And this goes over to general where I asked it, I think, pinned, right, into it. So a lot of people are using Windows, but a good chunk are also using Linux. So I hope that anyone on Linux doesn't feel a lot of difference. If you want to use the VM, very good. I guess you'll be able to use like install, go and set up the environments yourself as well. If you are only on Windows, I would recommend you please install Linux either as dual boot or much safer way. You just download the VM and use it. Okay. Um, Apple Silicon, I mean, for Mac, I have not done, or at least for my Apple Silicon. This will run also on Macs with Intel processors. I'll build the. So, okay, let's start with the programming. Right. Uh, do you guys have any questions? I think I should just create a thread now. Let's create one. First programming session. All right. Any question? Sorry. Word being or D, covered, that have been technically, but fine enough. Covered the same as playing here. Okay. Why is it worse? Anyways, session one started. Oh, you already started it. Come on, have to kill it. Sorry, Babaji, please stop typing and start typing here. They already created another one. Please, I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna delete it. Delete it. Okay. Okay. VS Code is you. Okay. I don't like it. Basically, a browser masquerading as a text editor. You drop a 1 GB file, it will tell you who is who. Okay, VS Code is great. Okay, you guys can fight later on. Okay. Okay. So people with Windows using WSL is faster than a separate Docker container. I don't know about WSL. WSL screws up it with my head. The last time I tried, I think it took too much of space and accessing paths and there is a little bit difficult. And okay, no questions here. Let me check the stream once. No questions. Install only the required forms because if you want, install all of them, it will take a lot of time and load your system. Okay, no questions. Now, I told you guys that Go is easy, right? And I use basically Golang. This is a paid subscription, and I'm just too used to it to let go. And just make it light. Light looks better. Sorry. These are some of the old things that we were working on. I don't know since how much time I have not created. So let me open that same folder I had for session one. And environment variables I don't need to. Sources. So you remember when I started this, I did not create this go.mod file. Right? This got created by Golang ID. Go.mod file basically declares the modules, its dependencies, and second level dependencies. You can also change certain versions if you want for any dependencies, or you can try to use a local copy of a remote repository, and those things are basically available in this file. You can do them. And okay, so you have got a very simple hello world program with configuration of go build and directory is fine by run. So let me go back and check what I was supposed to talk about next. We've got hello world done. Basic syntax, variables and data types. So syntax is very much on the lines of C. I mean, if you look at Python's code does not look like C because of the lack of curly braces and stuff like that. Also, I don't know what that main like name equal to one underscore main or something like that. I don't know what that is. So this looks very much like C. As I said, it starts with package always. So if I go and create a new directory, let's say I'm going to call it let's call it just hello. And new Go file, let's say hello. And I don't have to put in .go, it will be added by the ID. So you see, by default, it is expected. This is a convention. Okay, that you have to name your package the same as directory. This makes it easy for anyone. I mean, if I change it and I name it whatever, not a complaint. It's not going to say like, this is wrong. But it will give you a suggestion, I think. Okay, not here. But I've turned off the suggestions actually. No. So you can name it anything as long as you don't create two packages in the same code. If I say hello 2 and over here, see, it automatically built in backup. If I say here the package name as hello, it's going to complain. Multiple packages in the directory backup. So you have to keep the package name consistent. And I would highly recommend that you don't, you know, you always keep the package name same as the folder name and don't keep a name that is not the same as folder name. That being said, it also helps in not allowing you to create folders with spaces. The spaces are really bad idea. I think it's at least half of you must be knowing about that. Um, Now, if I want to use something from hello, I'll have to write it here. So I'm going to just create another function hello. Okay. And I'm going to make it return a string. Okay. I'm going to just return my name. I'm a narcissist. And the moment I press save, command S, this is an IDE feature. I think you can configure this behavior in VS Code as well. I'm sure that in NeoVim you can. So it automatically formats it. Okay. If you guys attended the last session, I told you that there is a formatter that comes built in, right? This is the IDE basically invokes the formatter on the file the moment you save it. It just formats the file. Right. Here I have written a function named hello, which returns a string. Now, if I want to like call this function, I will have to import that package. So, what is the package name? The name will come from here, go session one. I'll have to do something like import go session one and slash hello. So this is the auto suggest. Right now, it should be saying that you have imported, but you have not used it. Probably, yeah, unused import. So now I'm just going to say fmt.println hello has not yet come. Oh, I named it the same. My name. Okay, sorry. The reason it did not show is the name of the function was hello and this was not capital. Okay. If it is not capital, it's not going to show you. So if I go back and change it from small h to capital H, and now if I go and say H, it says hello. If I run it now, it should say it returned from E. So you have got the basic idea. You what you do in C with println or printf. In Java, I think it is system.out.println. You have got FMT. FMT stands for formatting, and println is a function. So you must be seeing like it's very much close to C. Again, so you can't be doing this all the time, right? You need to create variables and you need to use them. So you can declare variables like var x, and it's a type of integer. So I'm going to, and let me just print x here, right? I'm going to run it again. So 0. Now this introduces a very important thing about Go. If you did this in C, it would probably give you a garbage value, might crash. But it usually isn't empty. In Go, you are guaranteed that every single time you create a variable, it is always initialized with something called as empty value. So an empty value for int is 0. And empty value for a string is string. And I'm gonna print str is a blank string. Okay. So to make it look good, I am going to wrap it a little bit. Uh, the view is string. Sorry. But I can just concatenate it, right, and run it. It will come as blank. Okay. If you wanna see it for sure, hit F, and I will be this percentage s backtick and will right. Now if I run it, you see backticks. There's nothing there. It always initializes with a particular zero value. Floats are 0.0, int is x, sorry, 0. So this x becomes 0. Um, Anything else that you create, any composite stuff that you create, its value will always be a composite of all the zero values. Arrays are by default, I think, nil. Structures usually have multiple fields in them. All those fields will be initialized to their empty values. But it will never happen that you'll get a garbage. That happens in C, and C is obviously much more lower level. I mean, not much more lower level, but lower level than Go at least. And it does not guarantee that it will be initialized with a sane value. Here, sanity is guaranteed. Okay. So you have got int, you have got string, float is same, FLT, you can say float 64, 32, whatever you want. And I'm gonna duplicate it. Okay. I'm gonna say FLT. Sorry. I have the Vim mode enabled. Okay. Now, if you look a little bit closely, you'll see that placeholder argument FLT has wrong type. So try to run it. Let's see what happens. Something, some garbage. I think it's F or something else. But I usually what I do is I use percentage V. Now what V does is it gives you the value. It stands for value, and it's one of the favorite things I have in Go. Like I don't have to worry about what's here, what kind of value it is. Is it an integer? Is it a date? It is what? I mean, even if you take a date, for example, by the way, time. Let's print time by t by m, and let's call it time dot. And if you take it, you change it to t by m, and you run it, you'll still print something sensible. Okay, I have missed backslash ends. Click. To give you some value. The zero value of time is this. First year, 1st January, and you have got the UTC as the time zone by default, and everything else initialized to zero. So your year, month, and day is set to 1, the rest is. And if you try to obviously do a percentage S, it will probably give you something same. Yeah, gave you the same stuff. But you can see here if we do S or D or something like that, I think if I do D or here do D, it should crash or tell me some garbage. These are, by the way, when I said D, this is the sorry, the integer value of what a time is actually. Go to time, you can see the time has three fields: the wall, X, and location, and they're all set to zero. So you usually don't have to do percentage S, percentage F, percentage D, capital D, things like that. Just saying B is fine enough. Okay. There's no errors. Compiles beautifully. Okay. Now, if I may, I would like to copy from here, and let's change this to integer is, let's say percentage B and not X work. These are the zero values. Now, if I copy this, it will obviously come as the same. Um, I will think to make it more sensible. And let's do this. If I it will print it twice. How do I set a value? I think it's very easy. Everyone must be knowing about it. It's integer value, so you can only set, let's say, 1, 2, 3 over here. Str becomes, sorry, this will replace the value from above. Okay. FLT, let's say 3.14 time to time dot, let's say now. And now if I run it, it will print those values. 1, 2, 3, take 3.14, and this. Don't worry about the time format. You can control it. I will tell it later on. But this is a little bit cumbersome. I mean, for using one variable, you have to write two sentences. And obviously, there's one more way of doing it. Let's initialize one more variable where y is also going to be an integer. Let's say n equal to, let's say 10 on this one. Okay. And I'm just gonna paste it and over here. And if I now say run, it says 10. Okay. This makes it a little bit cleaner. Harms nobody. Yeah, the integer is 10. Now, why is this great? Because it says type can be omitted. Go is statically typed, compiled. And the compiler sees that, okay, you're saying var y, and then you're saying end, and then you're putting an end over here. This is redundant. You can get rid of it. If I do this, you still have 10. So you can actually remove it. But some types that are also integer should be declared with their types. I'll give you an example. For example, int 8. Int 8 is an 8-bit integer which ranges from minus 128 to 127. And okay, so who here? Okay, I'll answer those later on. Who here does not know about bitwise operations and how many bits integer takes, how things are organized on that level? Can you say, let's say, I don't know, just say one in the chat? One second, let me open OBS. Capital letter. Oh, okay, you guys know. In both the 0.5. You put from the site of the GitHub. Why do all libraries imports and Go start with github.com slash something something? Could you explain a little bit about how it works in Go and why there's a proxy server involved in Java? We have mentioned dependency. Yeah, this is the answer. Go early on decided that they will not be hosting their packages like you have got Ruby gems, you have got Node packages hosted somewhere, Maven hosts something, I think, in Java, and so on, right? That central repository does not exist in Go. And when you say something like this, it just expects that it will go here. It expects a GitHub repository to exist over here. It will and it will go to that site, try to get the GitHub repository named ABC under user XYZ, and try to download it and run it. That's how it works. About 8-bit, you'll have to do some research about how the bits work. I cannot explain every single, you know, uh, thing, conversions into strings to. I'll come to those things, man. These save them for later on. Albatross. Come to those things. Today is very basic stuff, and this into string is very simple. Let's do it. Why do I even have to worry about that? This here is happening, right? You're printing this integer as a string. This is a string, right? You print it. So the basic way of doing the conversion is like you printf it, right? You just say print fmt dot print f, and you say percentage v or e, and you say y, give it the value. You have done the integer to string conversion right here. Okay. String to integer takes strconf package, this package, and I think it's a2i is what happens. But the people who designed Go went one step further. And what they did was, you can actually in Go do this. Sorry, println a little bit later. And this time I'm gonna say Z, but Z is not defined, so it's telling me got a red colored error. Now instead of saying var x int equal to, that's 20 here, not xz, sorry, this is perfectly valid. But what I can also do is do this, and this basically creates z and assigns it the value 20. And since Go compiler sees that it is an integer, it will create a z as integer, assign it value 20, and it happens in one single line. So in this helps it look like a dynamic language to an extent. You don't have to do too much work. You just want to create a variable, create it, assign a value, done. If you want to assign it a zero value, that's not the way, unless you also like something like this. This is the zero value for integer. But you can do this, and if you run it, it should set 20. Okay, same with strings. str2 becomes, let's say, Go. Okay, done. String is, and I'm gonna change it to str2, and I will file it. You can see Go. Guys, give me a minute. Someone is actually knocking. Am I audible again? Yes, thank you. So, these are the ways in which you initialize a variable, put a value in it. You have seen how you can, reassign the value. Sorry for the interruption. Uh, Reassign the values, and you can use them. I mean, obviously, this goes without saying, but just for the sake of it, if I do this and or next time I'm gonna just lock everything and tell people not to disturb me. You can obviously set z equal to 30, and if you run it, print 20 and 30. And you can't do this twice. because this basically tells create a new variable and assign it a value. If you do this, it's going to say no new variables on the left side. So this is an error. If you compile, it's going to say no new variables on the left side of this. So you have got the basics of the syntax, how you're going to use variables, what kind of variables there are. These are the some of the scalar ones. And you know now about zero values. Some other things about the syntax is you can use a semicolon, but it's actually not needed. Like if I compile this, run it, it will remove. This is some stuff that my IDE is doing, but this is not error. Okay, you are not going to get an error. You see there's no red highlights, red underline, right? So these are the basics, but let's go one step further. What's next? Jumps, loops, and packages. Okay, I told you about packages. That wasn't how I planned it, but fine. I mean, you don't always have to follow a rigid structure when learning, right? So packages are basically your code organized into folders and files. I can write another over here, just for the sake of it, I'm going to show you. Hello 2, and I'm going to return a string. And this one will return just hello 2, right? And I'm going to use it. So you have got hello and hello 2. Okay. And if I run it now, you see it says hello 2. So basically, these have the same scope. If I want to return the result of hello here, I can do that. If I now run it, you see I will print it twice, right? So they have the same scope. You can actually do this and print it over here. Okay, I mean paste it over here, and you can run it, and it will still work. So when you are doing packages, you have to remember that this behaves like this. All of this stuff is in one file. That's basically the premise of it. There are advantages of splitting your files. Obviously, code organization is the big advantage, but there are also certain things that Go as a language features, which is possible only when you have certain code in another file, and we call them build tags. Like, there are multiple features that where this concept of having multiple files is used, but tags is one of the prime ones. You might want to look into that. It's a very interesting. So that's packages. If I, by the way, also if I delete this, it's going to give me an error. The Go file cannot be empty, or it cannot only contain comments. That is not possible. You have to give a package name always. You cannot have an empty Go file. Also, you cannot have a variable that you have decided not to use. For example, if I go here and I say str3 and I initialize it to, let's say, str3 itself, and I try to run it, it's going to say declare anonymous. So this helps in keeping your code clean. Like it's obviously when you're developing, it's going to cause trouble. You'll feel like, oh man, just let me do it. Why are you complaining about just one variable initialize? But Go was built for efficiency as well, right? And one of the ways we leak memory with bad programming is like we just create variables and we leave them there. I mean, leaking memory is technically different, but we make a mess. If you have gone through a bigger code base, you'll know that certain things, certain variables, certain functions that were written maybe say 5, 8, 10 years ago. When you ask the people who are working on the code base today, like what does it do? They don't know. And what happens is like someone has to come along and look at the stuff that is there and check whether or not it is being used anywhere at all or not. And if not, then let's get rid of it. With three or things that have got magic in there, it becomes really, really, really difficult because you don't know who might be creating a casted pointer to that particular thing somewhere else. And you just read it, the compiler will not complain, but your program will break in runtime. So things like that happen. Go tries to avoid all this by giving you warnings that okay, you're trying to use a variable. I mean, sorry, you're trying to create a variable without using it. That's not allowed. So if you comment it, compiler is happy. Like, that runs. Like, uh, the same thing. But if you create a function, I won't use it, and it returns nothing. Let's say it returns n and make me 0. Okay. This one, it works.